All right, so we're visiting the town of Franklin, but first we did a stop over here at where they did a lot of mining, had a lot of their equipment, and see some of those ruins out here.
The BLM owns this property, right?
That's right, but you'll find a bunch of like these big pits right here behind us. This is where in the wintertime they would dig and burn it and mine down during the winter because the ground was frozen, it didn't cave in. And they go pretty far. They actually had tunnels under where we're walking at one point, but it's all collapsed now. So a lot of cool history.
A lot of the old equipment's still here too.
Yeah, so we'll show you some of that footage.
Howard Franklin was the town's namesake. He was one of the two prospectors who, in 1886, journeyed up the Fortymile River and found gold. Back then, the river was known as the Creek of Leaves. Franklin did not keep his discovery a secret. Word of gold pulled prospectors up the 40 Mile, and suddenly hundreds of men were crawling over the domes and creeks of the 40 Mile. They used hydraulic mining by building wooden flumes to carry water from Franklin Creek, and they forced it through metal pipes. There, they fire hosed away hillsides to reach the gold-bearing gravels. 10 years later, the Klondike Gold Rush near Dawson took center stage, and everyone stampeded to the Klondike. Howard Franklin removed a good deal of gold from Franklin Creek and returned each winter to Juneau. This is where he had staked earlier gold claims and helped lay out the streets of Alaska's capital city. Others named Franklin Street in downtown Juneau after him. He died in 1904. Now we're going to explore the actual town of Franklin. It is a ghost town now.
That's right. At one point, there was over 6,000 people that lived here in this town. What years was it?
1886, Howard Franklin and a group of, I think, 5 other prospectors discovered a rich deposit here, and pretty soon it became one of those gold rush boom towns.
That's right, and it stayed in operation, even had a post office, and finally closed in 1945 at the end of World War II. So we're right across the river from where we were, seeing all the ruins of a lot of the mining equipment. So
let's take a look at the town.
That's right.
Franklin, Alaska, population 0. It was the site of the first major gold strike in interior Alaska. It's a living town from 1887 to 1948, and now people call it the town that once was. Franklin was home to 200 people in the late 1800s.
The Coors Light can.
The Franklin Roadhouse is still identifiable by its 39-foot by 29-foot log outline. We did locate this on our visit. There's no roof, but remnants of the structure still remains. It was built into the south-facing cliffside of sedge and shale. So we wandered into the town of Franklin, and there are some structures that they're ruined, but you can still make out what they used to be. And standing behind us, we have an old cabin that was built. And back then, out here in the middle of nowhere, they had to use everything they could find, and they didn't waste it. So this is old kerosene containers that they flattened out, and they were using them as shingles for their cabin. So
that's right. So never waste anything. Keep using it, repurposing it, and using it again.
And it's really amazing when you think about just how, this is really, really remote. And for being in the 1800s, it's even more remote for them. So, yeah.
Yep, it's a cool mixture. We showed a tundra cooler just a little bit that they built under their houses. But there's some structures that are a little newer than the first settlers that were here when they first started the town. So we'll keep taking a walk and check everything out.
In the early 1900s, gold miners called Franklin Dogtown. They called it this because so many dogs were staked at the mouth of the Franklin Creek. The dogs were ready to pull sleds over the trail that followed the river and ridges to both Chicken and Eagle.
All right, so a lot of cool relics here. Right hidden underneath this pine tree, you can take a look here. It's like it was what they used to drill down into the permafrost and the ice and stuff. Steam would be injected and kind of help turn it, and just almost like a giant auger drill type to chew holes down in the ice so they can continue mining or building their tundra coolers, whatever they needed to get down to that frozen ground. There's a little fireplace here. Black bear, that's all they say, black bear.
Well, that was the town of Franklin, and that is near Chicken, Alaska. It is a ghost town, and we wandered back here. There's some great things to see, very beautiful scenery, wildlife as well.
Yeah, saw moose tracks, moose poop, bear tracks, you name it, it's out here. So be careful if you do venture, but it's what's cool. When you're out mining and traveling to all these different places, take a break like we did and check out the history around you. You'd be amazed at what you can find.